Today's story, Destiny of Greenhaven, Part I. In the quaint village of Greenhaven, nestled snugly in the heart of a lush, rolling valley, Emma grew up in a warm and loving family. She was the daughter of Sarah and William Grayson. Sarah, her mother, was a talented herbalist who could brew remedies from the wild plants that blanketed the valley. Her knowledge of herbs and potions was widely respected throughout the village, and she often treated the villagers' ailments with her natural remedies. Emma's father, William, was a retired adventurer who had roamed the world in his youth, seeking out ancient artifacts and uncovering hidden mysteries. He had regaled his daughter with countless tales of his exploits, filling her mind with the wonders of the world beyond Greenhaven. Despite his adventurous past, he had settled down in Greenhaven after meeting Sarah, and together they had decided to raise their family in the tranquil village. Greenhaven was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other's name. The villagers were known for their warm hospitality and strong sense of camaraderie. They celebrated the changing seasons with vibrant festivals, and their lives were deeply intertwined with the rhythms of nature. The village was famous for its bountiful harvests, thanks to the fertile soil and the magical properties of the valley. Emma, although more of a loner, would spend a lot of time with her best friend from childhood, Clara. Clara was one of the greatest mages in the village. She would cure and heal animals, raise crops back from drought, guide the children in learning magic, and many more. Emma would often assist Clara in these ordeals, however it did not feel as something she enjoyed doing over and over. What Emma admired most about Clara was her dedication to training in the ways of magic. In this world, magic was a natural and integral part of everyday life. The valley surrounding Greenhaven was said to be infused with ancient, mystical energies, making it a place where magic thrived. The villagers harnessed this magic in various ways. Sarah Grayson used it in her herbal concoctions, enhancing their potency and healing properties. Farmers used magic to aid their crops, ensuring abundant harvests. The village blacksmith could infuse metalwork with magical enchantments, creating extraordinary tools and trinkets. At the heart of Greenhaven was a magical nexus, a shimmering pool surrounded by ancient stones. It was said that those who bathed in the pool would be granted a connection to the magic elements. Among the cherished customs of Greenhaven, none was more profound than the bath of magic, performed on a child's second birthday. This ancient tradition was believed to bestow upon the child the lifelong ability to both sense and use magic. On this auspicious day, parents would carefully lower their tiny tots into the cool, glimmering waters of the nexus. The child's giggles would mingle with the gentle babble of the pool, creating an atmosphere of pure enchantment. Yet, the nexus held a peculiar secret. While its waters were believed to grant magical abilities to those immersed in its embrace, the villagers also harbored a deep-seated belief that consuming even a drop of this liquid would be deadly. Legends whispered that the nexus was the keeper of ancient, untamed powers, ones that could overwhelm and consume a person if ingested. As a result, despite the allure of the nexus and its enchanting waters, the villagers dared not sip from it, treating it with the utmost reverence and caution. The pool remained untouched by their lips, its mysteries known only through their age-old traditions and the occasional lucky child's laughter echoing in its presence. As Emma grew up in the cozy cottage of Greenhaven, her father, William, would often regale her with tales of his adventurous past. One of her favorite stories was about the lost city of Ilara. Sitting by the crackling fireplace, he would paint vivid pictures with his words, describing the dense, emerald green jungle where he had ventured as a young man. The tale was filled with suspense as he spoke of the moment he stumbled upon the moss-covered ruins of a once mighty city, said to be hidden from the world for centuries. Emma's wide-eyed wonder mirrored the awe he had felt when he first laid eyes on the intricate carvings that adorned the weathered stone walls. William's voice would take on a mystical tone as he recounted the legends surrounding the city's disappearance and the sense of adventure that filled his heart as he explored its labyrinthine streets. But perhaps the most captivating of William's stories was the one he called The Whispering Woods. It was a tale of a mystical forest filled with ancient, towering trees and an aura of enchantment. Emma could almost hear the rustling leaves and murmuring breezes as her father recounted his journey through the heart of this magical woodland. William spoke of the trees that seemed to whisper secrets, guiding him deeper into the woods. He described the luminous, glowing mushrooms that lit his path through the night, and the mysterious creatures that called the forest home. The story painted a picture of a world where nature and magic were intertwined, leaving Emma with a profound appreciation for the wonders that lay beyond the borders of Greenhaven. Emma, while not the greatest magic wielder in Greenhaven, possessed a unique and extraordinary gift that set her apart from others. She had unparalleled magical senses. From a young age, it became apparent that Emma had an uncanny ability to perceive the presence of magic in the world around her. She could feel the subtle vibrations of mystical energies, like ripples on a pond, that emanated from living beings and enchanted objects. One of her most remarkable talents was her ability to pinpoint the location of individuals based on their magical presence. When others couldn't detect a hidden wizard or a concealed artifact, Emma could sense their presence with an instinctual accuracy. It was as though a mysterious thread connected her to the very essence of magic, allowing her to navigate the world with an almost supernatural awareness. Her unique gift became an invaluable asset to the village. Emma often assisted her mother, Sarah, in gathering magical herbs, as she could effortlessly identify them by their subtle energy patterns. She aided the farmers in ensuring the crops thrived by sensing any disturbances in the magical currents of the soil. Emma's abilities even helped locate lost items or wayward livestock that had wandered into the dense woods. But Emma's talents extended beyond magic. Since she was a child, she had been training in the art of sword combat. Her father, William, had recognized that not all challenges could be met with magic alone. He had instilled in her the importance of physical strength, agility, and self-defense. As she grew, Emma honed her swordsmanship skills, becoming a formidable warrior in her own right. As Emma continued to grow and develop her unique magical senses in Greenhaven, she couldn't ignore a peculiar sensation that had been tugging at the edges of her consciousness for years. Far beyond the familiar borders of the village, she felt a persistent, almost magnetic magical presence. It was as if the valley itself whispered secrets to her, beckoning her to explore the world beyond, like a distant call that grew louder with each passing day. As the years passed, this mysterious pull on her heart became undeniable. Emma knew in her bones that the time had come to answer the call of this enigmatic presence. She could no longer resist the urge to seek out the source of this magical force and uncover the secrets it held. With courage and curiosity burning in her eyes, Emma decided to embark on her journey. She packed a small knapsack with enough food to sustain her for several days, a change of clothes, and a few essential tools. Among those tools was her father's trusted sword and shield, both passed down through generations of Graysons. These heirlooms were more than mere weapons. They were symbols of her family's history and a reminder of the legacy she carried with her into the unknown. The only person that knew about Emma's desire for adventure and exploration was Clara. As much as Clara would have liked to take part in these adventures, she was way too attached and invested into the village life. She was also very worried about Emma, but did not talk about it, because she didn't want to burden her journey with worries. As she shouldered her bag and held her father's sword in her hand, she felt a surge of anticipation and excitement. Emma knew that her adventure would be filled with challenges and discoveries, but she was ready to face them head-on. With her magical senses guiding her, and her father's sword at her side, she set off from Greenhaven, ready to unravel the mysteries of the magical presence that had called her to adventure. Before the first light of dawn, Emma rose from her bed, careful not to disturb her slumbering family. The village of Greenhaven lay in hushed silence, enveloped in the tranquil embrace of night. With soft, deliberate steps, she moved through the familiar rooms of her childhood home, taking one last lingering look at the cozy cottage that had sheltered her for so long. Outside, the world was shrouded in the quiet stillness of the pre-dawn hours. The air was crisp and cool, carrying the fragrance of the nearby whispering woods. Emma knew that her parents would never allow her to embark on this journey alone, so she had chosen the cloak of secrecy as her ally. Her knapsack, containing the provisions and her father's sword and shield, was already prepared and waiting by the door. She slung it over her shoulder and, with a final, wistful glance at her home, set off towards the edge of the village. The dirt path beneath her feet seemed to hold its breath as she moved, respecting her determination and the gravity of her quest. As Emma ventured further away from the comforts of Greenhaven, she found herself in uncharted territory. She didn't have a map or a clear destination in mind, but her magical senses guided her with an uncanny accuracy. It was as though an invisible thread connected her to the enigmatic presence that had called to her, pulling her in the right direction. For 5 days, she journeyed through diverse landscapes. She passed mighty rivers, their rushing waters reflecting the ever-changing sky above. She traversed deep, winding canyons that seemed to reach down into the very heart of the earth. Along her path, she marveled at a majestic cascade that thundered down from great heights, showering her with mist that glistened like diamonds in the sunlight. On the 5th day of her journey, Emma arrived at the edge of an ancient forest. The moment her foot crossed the threshold, she felt an electric energy in the air. The forest was like none she had ever seen before. Its floor was carpeted with glowing mushrooms, casting an eerie, ethereal light that danced and flickered in the shadows. As she ventured deeper into the forest, Emma encountered mysterious creatures that seemed to step out of the pages of her father's stories. Some were luminous, otherworldly beings that flitted through the trees like living constellations. Others were guardian spirits of the forest, their eyes holding a wisdom that seemed as ancient as time itself. The forest before her was an exact match to the one she had heard of in her father's tales, the Whispering Woods. Its beauty and enchantment were beyond anything she could have imagined. Emma felt a deep connection to the stories her father had shared, and the realization that she now stood in the very place he had described filled her with a sense of wonder and destiny. The forest had called her, and she had followed its beckoning voice to a place where magic and adventure intertwined, just as her father's stories had foretold. If you've listened until now, make sure you like and subscribe, so you'll know when the next part of the story comes around.